Hey everyone, Tim with Collect Jurassic, and I'm back with some really cool stuff to share today as part of a new Jurassic World toy news update. Of course, we're always talking about Epic Evolution now, as that is just around the corner from Mattel. Their sort of late 2023, early 2024 new toy line that's hitting, and we have one of the feature dinosaur figures to look at today, something that's been teased a little before, but we're getting our first official look at it, and there's plenty of HD images to soak in. This is a beautiful looking toy, definitely stylized. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Jurassic World Ruthless Rampage Allosaurus. You can see it here in the packaging. Of course, we have that lovely Epic Evolution packaging with the cool, big T-Rex logo in the corner in the circle, that sunlight hitting it, as well as that big Jurassic World logo in the corner. Looks really cool. But otherwise, it's very similar to Dino Trackers. Epic Evolution does have those like biomes or habitats applied to each figure. You can see Ruthless Rampage Allosaurus here has, I think it's like a beachside kind of mountainous kind of habitat. I don't know. I'm sure there's an official name for it, but you can see here that the Allosaurus still sports that classic paint coloration from Fallen Kingdom, from Dominion and Battle at Big Rock and all that stuff. But there's some interesting details here in the action features, as well as some of the sculpting aesthetic that I'm going to get to that tease something a little bit more in store for this particular Allosaurus. This isn't just a toy for the sake of being a toy, but possibly tying into something a little bit bigger, especially considering that they completely resculpted the figure from some of the previous Allosaurus figures that we've already gotten from Mattel over the years. So let's get that figure out of the box and take a closer look. As you can see, this thing has some really big, large teeth. My, what big teeth you have, right? You can see these are individually sculpted plastic teeth versus something painted, which is cool. Mattel has more and more been doing that on their figures, and it looks like the new Allosaurus is going to sport that improvement as well. Elsewhere, you can see some improved proportions. The feet are a little bit smaller. It looks like it's got a pretty long tail, but otherwise, it's still very aesthetically stylized, right? We've had plenty of Allosaurus toys from Mattel at this point, and some look almost just like the movie, and this one almost seems purposefully a little bit different. It looks almost, I won't say cartoonish, but I would say it looks a little bit more on the animated side, which seems like a strong hint that this Allosaurus figure, this brand new sculpted figure, again, not like a retool or a repaint, brand new sculpted figure, is purposefully done in this sort of style, possibly in reference to something that the Allosaurus will be featured in, like a new media property, possibly some sort of show. But enough teasing there. Let's talk about the action features, because there's some pretty cool stuff here and some pretty standard stuff. Epic Evolution, pretty much every figure has this rolling wheel action. It's sort of the Epic Evolution gimmick, if you will. There's no button, there's no switch. It's like a little rolling dial. And in this case, we have a couple different action features that are activated. The first one is this first wheel makes the mouth open, and there also will be an electronic roar. Sorry if I didn't mention that before, but this is a electronic figure, so there will be some electronic roaring here. And you can also see that I believe with the wheel you can click it and keep it open. Don't quote me on that, but the neutral pose for Allosaurus here is going to be closed mouth, which I personally always prefer my figures to have a neutral pose of a closed mouth. Makes them look a little less goofy, but you can also get a better look at those individually sculpted teeth here too. So nice blue paint coming all the way through the snout. It's a simple paint deco on this figure, but effective with that base plastic color with the blue on top of it. Looks really nice. And elsewhere with the action feature, we also have the wheel that is going to make it buck its head up and down. So that articulation in the neck is going to be tied to an action feature. It looks like, you can press that and go from like up and down basically. So you can see the mouth is open in both cases, which leads me to believe that as you roll the dial, you can kind of keep the mouth open and move it around. Or perhaps if you're looking at this photo, you can press the wheel and cause the mouth to open upward or open downward. So a couple different uses for that action wheel. So I'm interested to see how they both work on the same switch. Maybe it's something you press down to make it do different things, because if you remember, the other action feature just opened the mouth, didn't affect the neck movement. So some dual purpose action feature there, but that's not the only action feature that this Allosaurus has. And also this next action feature is probably more in line with the epic evolution theme that we're talking about this year. What exactly is the epic evolution of a lot of these figures, right? I mean, what does that even mean? And I think what it means is some of these play features like we're seeing here, where the spikes on the back of the Allosaurus literally grow up, sort of evolving in real time, which is an interesting way to take evolution, I guess. It's something that happens over millions of years, but in this case, for these toys, it happens at the push of a button. But hey, it's a toy. It's supposed to be fun. So yeah, that's something interesting and not something we haven't completely seen, haven't ever seen before. If you remember the Dino Tracker's gigantic tractor, I think it was Beastivore. I don't remember how to pronounce it necessarily, but I remember the action feature does feature like spikes on the tail that move around. So kind of laid the groundwork for the Ruthless Rampage Allosaurus, except these spikes actually grow out of the back of the tail, which is really interesting. So looks like it's activated by a switch there behind the spikes. So 2 to 3 different action features you can do on the Ruthless Rampage Allosaurus in 2 different locations. And of course, that's all built around the typical articulation with the arms and the legs that you'll be able to move. And then, last but not least, you can always expect on these Mattel figures to find that DNA scan code. And it looks like they've housed it in the leg versus, above the hips or something. So they usually do that when there's lots of mechanical action features inside the plastic toy itself, so they can go ahead and house it on the leg. We saw that with the 93 classic T-Rex, and it looks like and the new Indominus Rex as well. So they're taking a similar approach here and just putting it on the leg. And I don't know if you caught it in previous images in this video, but that the covering on the scan tag here already has some scratch marks, so already has a little bit of dino damage to kind of give you a prompt to open this up and look at the scan code. So scan codes, of course, still going strong after all these years from the foot, and now there are these tags, but certainly a big subset of collectors, probably the younger kids, love to scan these in to the Jurassic Facts app on the phone. So of course, Epic Evolution's carrying that forward. So that people can keep doing that. So nice little hidden hideaway here, as you can see, for the Allosaurus, but doesn't really affect the overall sculpt of the figure. So again, that sculpt is definitely on the stylized side. So anxious to see how this will tie into an unannounced Jurassic World project that I'm sure is just around the corner. One other thing I wanted to mention is in the official description of this, it does mention that this dinosaur appeared in the Battle at Big Rock short film. So I almost wonder if they're setting up this unannounced kind of property to tie into Battle at Big Rock. Because again, the official listing for this toy directly mentions that Allosaurus was in Battle at Big Rock. So kind of interesting Easter egg there, 2 or 3 years later to still be talking about that short in reference to a toy, but must be important, and it must be where this Allosaurus is from. So pretty cool figure. I actually can't wait to get this one in hand and do a comparison to the Dominion Allosaurus, which is a big favorite of mine. On top of all the other Allosaur figures we've gotten over the years, I think there's 3 or 4 other ones, including one specifically for Battle at Big Rock. So lots of different Allosaurs from Mattel's Jurassic World toy line, but it's a popular dinosaur, so I'm not too surprised. It's cool to see they're embracing it for something a little different again this year for Epic Evolution. So speaking about Epic Evolution, this is just one of many toys getting revealed. Of course, I did a video earlier this summer with some of those initial reveals, but stay tuned because I have a lot more coming. So definitely subscribe to Collect Jurassic. I'll be dropping a new video here pretty soon going over a bunch of other new Jurassic World Epic Evolution toys. You don't want to miss it, but this Ruthless Rampage Allosaurus is definitely one of the cooler ones, so I thought it deserved its own video. But that's all I got. Again, I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.